Senator Samson Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the onset, I want to congratulate Senator Otsotsi and also thank Raila Odinga and the ODM fraternity for giving him opportunity to be the ODM deputy party leader. We received a warm reception in Vihiga. Mr. Speaker, Vihiga is in my neighborhood. Coincidentally, Senator Otsotsi is our in-law. The wife of Senator Otsotsi comes from Nandi County, and I had to be there. And you know, in our culture, when somebody of the status of Otsotsi is celebrating, the in-laws must be there. So, and I want to thank Mr. Speaker. It looks like going into the future, UDA and ODM will work closely with the reception that we received, Mr. Speaker. And we are happy that Raila Odinga and William Ruto are working closely for the betterment of this. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I want to support this report of finance and budget that has been tabled and moved by the Deputy Vice Chair, where Mr. Gerald Nyaoma Arita is going to be the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. So, Speaker, I think a lot has been said. I want to congratulate the committee for doing speedily and efficiently the approval process of Mr. Gerald Nyaoma Arita. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I want to say the only way we can create an ethical public service, a service of integrity, is to allow people to grow within rank and file of a public service, Mr. Speaker. This issue of making political appointments, especially in public service, must stop, Mr. Speaker. Let somebody grow from the level of clerk to middle-level manager to the level of running that organization, Mr. Speaker, because they understand the challenges that face such an organization, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy that Mr. Gerald Nyamoita, Mr. Speaker, Arita, grew up within the rank and file of the financial sector and financial public service of this country. The only way we can inspire and encourage the public service to be vibrant is to allow people to grow within the rank and file of public service with ethics, being corruption-free, Mr. Speaker, and understand. So I want to commend Mr. Speaker and thank the President for appointing him, Mr. Speaker, because I know many of the public servants in this country, as we talk today, will be happy and excited, Mr. Speaker, that you can grow in a public service sector until you had that, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we should discourage political appointments in some of these sagas, Mr. Speaker, some of these parastatals. Let us allow public servants to grow within rank and file and add those institutions, Mr. Speaker, so that we don't get people from nowhere to add some of these critical institutions. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank also Central Bank of Kenya, because their work is to do monetary policy, is to do financial surveillance among commercial institutions, is to do regulation within the financial sector, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask Kenyans, the way the inflation has been stabilized, the way the economy is looking better than when President William Ruto took in 2022, Mr. Speaker. When the President took as the President of the Republic of Kenya in September 2022, Mr. Speaker, when he was sworn in as the fifth President of the Republic of Kenya, Kenya was almost defaulting in payment of public debt, which is close to 10.5 trillion Kenyan shillings, Mr. Speaker. And you know, every child that is born in this country owes the public debt 201,000 shillings per child that is born, Mr. Speaker. The President has done well that there is no default or payment of public debt by his government, Mr. Speaker. And I want to ask Kenyans to be patient, that in the next 1 or 2 years, in the next 1 year, Mr. Speaker, this country will be flowing with honey and milk. This country will be Canaan, Mr. Speaker, by His Excellency the President William Ruto. And I know to many people it appears to me to be a miracle, but it will be a miracle that happens after 2,000 years that Jesus left this world, Mr. Speaker. Let us give the President the chance and opportunity to transform the economy of this country, Mr. Speaker. And one of the important critical factors in this is the Central Bank of Kenya. If they can do proper financial regulatory, Mr. Speaker, it will be very critical. So I want to appeal to Kenyans. As they take to social media, they have a right, Mr. Speaker, you are a senior lawyer in this country. Freedom of expression has its boundaries, Mr. Speaker. We want to ask Kenyans who use social media, they have a right to criticize government, but they should do it factually. They should do it in a proper and hygienic way, Mr. Speaker. Freedom of expression does not mean to insult or you demean. You can still pass your message without demeaning, without undermining, without insulting, Mr. Speaker. So as Kenyans go to social media to criticize, Mr. Speaker, they have the right to, but they should criticize it in a factual manner. Even as they criticize in the negative things, they should also be saying the positive things that this government of His Excellency President William Ruto has done. So in the next 1 year, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the nation, and we saw when the President State of the Nation, Mr. Speaker, the Kenyan economy is looking more resilient than it was before. The Kenyan economy is looking better after William Ruto took over. We are talking about inflation rate of 2%, Mr. Speaker. As we talk, even when you walk around, Mr. Speaker, you can feel money. Where I come from, Mr. Speaker, we are selling maize at the moment, Mr. Speaker. You have bonuses in South Rift and across the country, Mr. Speaker. Let us allow the President to transform this country to a better nation. And let me ask Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, in terms of this inflation rate, and the cost of living has significantly gone down because we depend on central bank to do stable regulatory financial and financial environment, Mr. Speaker. Even the cost of living has gone down, the cost of food has gone down, Mr. Speaker. Many other issues are coming that look good for this country, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I want to appeal and also, Mr. Speaker, advise the new Deputy Governor, Mr. Cherargei,